edition.
Well, fields of crops paint the country every year at this time of year, but once harvested, where does the grain eventually go? We are following the bushels from the field all the way to livestock farms this weekend in our Farm Journal report. 3 years ago, an aerial view of Carroll County, Missouri looked like this.
We had 6-7 foot of water where we're standing right now.
As the Kastners aren't finished fixing the damage left behind, they've come a long way in the 3 years since.
We've got very good looking prospective crop here. We had really good stands. Emergence was good. And we had some timely rains early.
So for now, lush fields look promising, even if these fields are also ones that can be tangled in misconceptions.
So a small fraction goes to actual food products such as corn flakes or sweeteners or such. So it's less than 10% that goes towards those products.
Instead, the majority of the corn isn't processed directly into food.
So when you drive down the highway and see the field corn out here, 90% of that goes to the ethanol exports and livestock.
On Kastner's farm, all of this corn goes to 2 local ethanol plants. One of those plants is less than 20 miles away, right here in Malta Bend.
By design, our facility has about 10 days of ethanol storage, 10 days of DDGS storage behind us here.
Chris Wilson is the general manager of Mid-Missouri Energy, a farmer-owned ethanol plant that took root 17 years ago.
One of the nice things about our facility is we can speed up to maybe 60,000 bushels a day, but on average, we're going to process around 55,000 bushels of corn each day, which is going to produce around 160 to 165,000 gallons of fuel ethanol.
In addition to that ethanol, the plant also produces a steady stream of DDGs.
In addition, that would be about 425, 450 tons of distillers grains.
All of which are stored here.
So each pile is going to be maybe 500 tons, 700 ton.
That's before it's shipped out to end users across the U.S.
Most of our product's going to ship to the south, so southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas.
Some of that corn stays local.
We use DDGs, a lot of it in our gestation rations, and a little bit in our lactation. Late nursery we use quite a bit, and then all the way through finishing all the way to the last few diets.
Sandage of Ham Hill Farms is 16.8 miles from Mid-Missouri Energy, a family farm that's been in business for more than a century.
My dad built this feed mill in 1962. The original mill was behind us and was to feed out 2,600 head, and now it's feeding out over 60,000 and sometimes over 70,000 hogs a year.
But when Mid-Missouri Energy opened in the mid-2000s, Sandage started to incorporate the DDGs into his feed mix.
It reduces our cost on our diet some. You get fiber, there's nutritional benefits, energy, a little bit of protein, and so it just fits into the diet really, really well.
The fiber and protein is attractive, but Sandage says it's also the convenience.
We can run up there and pick up a load and have it here, in an hour. You could be up there and back.
As this pork producer says, the past year has been riddled with challenges.
We've had PRRS has been a huge problem for us for a number of years. We get healthy and then we have a break again. And we're dealing with the 144-1C variant right now.
And for him, it's taken nearly a year to recover.
We had a couple months there we didn't wean very many pigs, and so our sales were basically nothing.
As Sandage rebuilds, he's also battling inflation.
It's everything we touch. Every time we turn around, somebody's raising their price.
This Missouri pork producer admits those challenges mean he may only break even this year. But he hopes the strong start in the fields surrounding his farms means that corn and soybean farmers across the state will produce a big crop.
There's so few of us actually involved in production agriculture. If we don't stick together, we're not going to have much of a voice.
Now, a recent NPR story said food prices are skyrocketing for a lot of reasons, but 2 crops, corn and soybeans, play an outsized role as those commodities touch most of the food Americans eat. But as you just heard, that's not necessarily the case. And later on the show, Michelle Rook heads to the fields of Nebraska to dig into those details a little more. But first up, we need to head back to the studio to discuss the grain markets this week as well as livestock. Dan Bossie and Arlen Suderman join us next.
U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by the National Corn Growers Association. Beef, poultry, pork, and dairy producers combine to be corn growers' #1 customer. Both industries need each other to be successful. Together, they are one team. Learn more at ncga.com.